Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to bring to you two very important ladies that work for MedJet. What is MedJet? MedJet is medical evacuation membership. And we are just going to start right from the crazy stories because I think that that's the most important way to sort of translate what this is, this value that you're going to be getting with this incredible company. So, welcome, Sherry and Catherine. Tell me one or two of your stories that you guys have had experiences and you want to share with the public.
Sure. Quick clarification, we're the hospital component of medical evacuation. So we get people moved from hospitals away from home to their hospital at home.
So my favorite story is going to be, we had a member who was in Africa and was eating a banana and had a baboon come and attack her because it wanted the banana. And she became hospitalized and needed surgery and medical attention. Luckily, she was a MedJet member, and we were able to get her back to her home hospital for continued care. Do you have stories?
Wow.
Yeah.
I think
What's your story?
Yeah,
One?
There's so many of them. I think the craziest one, the most infuriating one I ever heard was a surfer down in Nicaragua. And he had broken his neck surfing, and the doctor, purportedly the doctor at the hospital at Managua, realized it was a broken neck and did not want to operate. And about an hour later, a nurse came in and said, "Well, since they can't operate on you, you all have to leave." I mean,
wow.
Where do you go? So the brother happened to be a doctor, and the brother was like, do your job. And they got him at least stable. Luckily, they were MedJet members, and he called in. We had him moved to a spinal surgery, one of the top spinal surgery centers here in the US. Most people choose to get transported to a hospital at home, but you can do it. You can choose a hospital anywhere in your home country. So his brother just chose a different hospital rather than taking him to North Carolina. Very sad story, but very scary that they told a man with a broken neck to leave their hospital.
Unbelievable. Yeah, and this is like really just true stories, and that's really what happens. And I always tell people, travel insurance is so important because that's a component, but this is like a supplemental additional, and there are reasons, and we'll go over that. One of my stories personally is kind of just like yours, Catherine. It was a neck injury, but it was just in Mexico, and basically the guy dove over the side and they were very inebriated and they had a severe neck injury, but because they didn't have insurance, there was no going home and everything had to be dealt with in Mexico. And when you're in that situation, people do not realize that you can't even get home if you want to, because then you have to be fit to fly, right? So there's so many components to it. I would love for you to tell the difference between travel insurance and MedJet, what MedJet does.
So MedJet is a membership. We're not travel insurance, but we go hand in hand with them. Travel insurance is very important because it's going to get you, to the hospital you first want to go to, or the
emergency hospital.
The emergency hospital nearby. They'll pay for your medical expenses. They also do like baggage claim and trip cancellation, none of which we do. So with MedJet, if you are hospitalized, we'll bring you back to your home hospital of choice in your home country. Right. Travel insurance is going to make sure you stay there until you're fit to fly commercially back home.
Right. I always say travel insurance is the cake of your coverage. MedJet's the icing. Our people want to get to a hospital at home just because they want to get to a hospital at home. Travel insurance will only move you if it's quote unquote medically necessary. And if they deem that the facility that you're currently in is not acceptable, and they get to make that decision, not you. So our people want to be able to get home just because they want to get home.
And this is a really important point, that the travel insurance companies decide what is acceptable. Whereas if you want to fly back to, like you said, the specialist, the best specialist for whatever injury you have in the United States, when you have a membership with MedJet, that's the benefits that you are entitled to, which is I can't imagine how relieved people feel when they have this opportunity. It's really, there's testimonies on your website, and we'll get into that. I just think this is so important for us to be reaching everyone. And please share this with your friends if you're watching, because it's important that people understand that they have this opportunity. A lot of people don't even know that this exists. Don't you agree? Do you find that a lot?
Agreed.
It is, yeah.
And where does MedJet fly from? Where is it, like just the like Europe, or where does it go?
So we're global, and it works both internationally and domestic.
Anytime you travel more than 150 miles from your home.
Wow, that's amazing. 150 miles from your home. So even if I was just going, just a short distance, I guess to the middle of the state, I'm in Florida, and something happened, I could come back to this area if I wanted to, or go to any other hospital I wanted to.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, most people, I would say that almost everybody buys it for some like big international trip that they take. And almost 50% of our transports every year are domestic. They get home. We had a professional baseball player who bought MedJet because he was worried about his wife's health because she had pre-existing conditions, and they were going to go on this big trip, and they took a quick trip down to Miami, and he slipped on the pool deck and snapped both of his quad tendons.
Wow.
And yeah. And so they ended up using MedJet before they even went anywhere.
This is kind of like synonymous of like you get in an accident 5 miles from your home, right? Like
150. They were more than 150 miles. So
yeah, but I mean, like, just in when we say about car accidents, like they happen close. So this happens domestically.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah.
People don't think about that. So the two stories you started with, Africa, having a baboon attack you. What the hell? Like that's just nuts.
We've had people gored by Cape Buffalo. We've had people like it. Some of the stories are crazy.
Yeah, we had a man driving a motorcycle hit a cow.
Yeah, man versus cow. That's a testimonial on our website, actually.
Yeah. So
what other stories do you have? Share some of your knowledge with us so that all of the people can understand how important this is.
I often tell people that I could write a book on stories because I can't make this stuff up. And that's actually going to be the title of the book. We've had double paragliding accidents. So we don't have adventure exclusions as well. Sherry, you have some really good ones too.
Yeah, I think that we had a woman from California who had she'd gone to Vietnam and gotten in. She was in one of those little sidecar tours, and it flipped over, and she landed face first in a rice paddy. She went to the hospital and called her travel insurance company, and the travel insurance company was like, "You're riding a motorcycle. There's nothing we could do for you." Luckily for her, she didn't require anything, but she was flabbergasted. And so for the next trip that they took, she signed up for MedJet. And the second day that they were at the pyramids, she slipped and fell. There's a lot of sand, and she shattered a whole bunch of stuff. And they took her to a hospital in Giza that was full of cats. The husband was like,
Why were they using cats? Why were the cats?
They were using the cats as rodent control, which is not unusual. It's actually very effective, but it really freaked them out. And
sanitation wise, yeah, I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. Plus, like, what if they're not cat people, right?
Or allergies. I mean,
allergic. Yeah, exactly. Right. So luckily they were MedJet members. They called, and she teared up when she was telling us about it. Because she was laying there and she was just so defeated. And so she just wanted to go home. And she said that she heard these voices down the hallway, these American voices, these Southern voices. She was like, MedJet's here. She was so, with that testimonials on our website too. She could still tear in her eye. It's adorable. But we get those stories all the time. Like we help people. We get people to their hospital at home when they are at their most scared, they're in pain. And they really just want to go home. And that's what we do.
Yeah, because there's the language barrier, number one. Then there's just are you trusting this hospital? But the language barrier is probably one of the hardest parts because
that's a big one. I'm actually going to go shoot a testimonial this weekend for a guy who, it was his first time ever buying MedJet, fairly young, very healthy guy. He was going to visit his study abroad daughter over in Italy, and his second day in Rome, might have been his first day, he walked right off the train platform, fell onto the tracks, shattered his femur, shattered some ribs, shattered and was in so much pain, and there was a train coming at him. So these two Italian gentlemen jumped down onto the tracks. They get him up just in time. He said the next thing he remembered, he was in the hospital. Not a single doctor spoke English, and that he was trying to understand what they were telling him that they were going to do to him by using Google Translate.
Gosh.
Not ideal for making medical decisions. And so he happened to be a MedJet member, of course, and called. And when he got home to his home hospital, and they had seen sort of like what the Italian doctors had done. I think it was five inches short. The rod that they had put in his leg was about 5 inches too short. They had to do the whole thing all over again.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
wow. So I'm super passionate.
He said he was never so happy to touch down in America in his whole life.
Right?
It was a horrible experience. Yeah.
I can completely understand that. And, I'm super passionate about travel insurance. In fact, I have been known to purchase travel insurance for my friends that are too cheap to purchase it for themselves, because I've seen you've done that.
I buy MedJet memberships for my friends.
Hilarious.
I paid for my grandfather when he went to Israel last summer. So
yeah,
that's really care, because we really care. Because honestly, when you are in this industry, it's no longer, oh, I don't know, would never happen to me. It's, oh my gosh, when is it going to happen? Because it's just a matter of when. And when we're on, these big cruising vessels or resorts, I mean, there's almost a real tragic emergency almost every single trip for everyone. There's at least one person. So, eventually that person is you. And people don't realize that even if they feel like they're in good health or whatever, there's terrain. It's like there's a lot of terrain that you're not familiar with, and you're looking up a lot because you're taking in the sights. And so a lot of slip and falls, which can result into huge problems. I mean, if you break your leg, that's no little thing. It's a huge thing. You don't want to be away for that, So when I found out about MedJet, I was like, what does it cost? I want the yearly plan, put the whole family on it. But what are the approximate costs? Because I know not everyone's like me. Where does this start?
So you can buy it as a per trip basis. That starts at just $99 for 8 days.
$99 is a start.
And we've had somebody purchase that before, and we spent about $200,000 on a transport for them because they needed it. But
$99 versus $200,000. Duh.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And then you can also do an annual membership, and those start at just $315 for an individual under 75 as well. So you can travel as often as you want throughout that membership year.
And that's why I have the annual, because I just can't be bothered. Like, I don't have time to we travel so much. But the other thing I'd like to mention, because this is why I bought it, the annual family plan, is because I have a kid. And if you have a kid, it's almost like you would give anything if they're hurt. You're at a real risk, really, because there's no mental worrying about bankruptcy. It doesn't matter. Like, your kid's hurt, you're going home, you're spending everything. It doesn't matter what you've saved for. It doesn't matter what you wanted in life. Your kid is going to be in the best care possible that you can get them as quickly as possible, and you will spend that $200,000 no matter how you get it. You'll figure it out, and that's why I was like, oh, this is very important, because you just can't. There's no rationale on what's worth it for your kid's safety, and I like to have peace of mind myself, but because I have a kid, and now he's 15 now, so he's not a little kid, but still, I mean, he broke his arm here in the backyard, and you would have thought, if possible, I would have probably given away the house to make sure he's out of pain. You know what I mean? Like, you don't make good judgment calls. It's so horrible to watch your kid,
especially like if they're going off to school further away from home.
I have bought it for 3 of my friends' kids. who were studying abroad, because I couldn't, for some reason, I couldn't convince them. And I knew I was going to get the phone call. I did it. And sure enough, like one of them actually called. She was, because I had gotten him the security membership, MedJet Horizon, which is the medical transport plus travel security. And he was stuck on the train in Santiago during all those riots over the rise in the subway fare. And Mom called me just absolutely freaked out. So yeah, it was.
That's how you do it. I mean, that's because you care, because we are people that care, and it's not a sales pitch. Believe me, I don't make anywhere near enough money for this to be a sales pitch on insurance.
Right.
This is our time, my time devoted to you, who I care about, because I really, really want you to know that this is available. I really, really want you to have it if you want it. And if anything ever happened to you, I would be so thrilled that you were protected, because, most of the people that I'm servicing, and even my agents are helping, we know them personally to some level. And so that's kind of a game changer. So if you just go to medjet.com/travel fun, this will pop up. And you can look into which ones you want. Membership options is right up here. Here's the testimonials tab. You can call them. They'll answer some questions. Just mention travel fun, please, so that, we have some credit here that we're getting. But really, you can compare the options. This is just a wonderful site to get information about what is available for you. And if you love travel, like we love travel, there's really no excuse to chance this when you have such an affordable, great service that I am so blessed to have. And most of my agents have it too, as soon as I tell them about you. But people don't know about it. So please share this with your friends that you care about. And then you can always DM me, of course. And Sherry and Catherine, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. We appreciate your stories. We appreciate your information. And we just look forward to helping more people. So thanks again. Have a great day, everybody.
All right.